parents to an informational year of your Badger School kindergarten classroom, and I'm going to be going through our kindergarten Roundup information through a virtual tour since I can't meet with you in person this year. So Badger School class of 2033, what will that look like? Here's some information. Our kindergarten Roundup agenda. We'll go through our schedule, our curriculum, classroom parties, field trips, birthdays, outside recess procedure, school webpage. We'll go through a demonstration on that. Some communication back and forth, school policies, kindergarten readiness, and how to stay involved in your child's education. Our daily schedule looks like this. 8 o'clock is arrival. Attendance is taken at 8:20. So if they are choosing to come and not eat breakfast at the school, and I also want to point out that breakfast for kindergarten is free of charge. Even if you do not qualify for free and reduced meals, kindergarten breakfast is free for all students. So you could arrive at 8:20 if you're dropping them off and still be here on time. Buses arrive generally right around 8 or shortly after. Smart time, Phi Ed in the gym with Mrs. Lambert. Morning meeting time, reading time, calendar, art, Alphabet Island, recess, which is outside time on the playground. Inside, lunch. So we have lunch following recess. Bathroom break, we start our math. We go to music with Mr. Carpenter in the music room. Finish up our math lesson. Handout papers, story time, milk break time, and rest time. Free play time in the room, and ready for home. Dismissal is at 3:03 in the afternoon. Playtime activities. You can see this just shows a couple pictures of free play time in the room, and it is a choice time for the kids to choose that activity. Curriculum overview. Most of our learning time is spent on our reading curriculum. We use the Houghton Mifflin reading series, which is a combination of literature experiences and phonetic activities. Letter sounds are introduced. At that time, I would send home a note asking for homework to be returned, something brought in for that letter sound. Sight words. I will send home in your packet a list of the first 10 sight words that you could practice over the summertime with your child. We have, I believe it's 93 sight words that are covered and expected to be memorized prior to going on to grade 1. Word family, take-home books. And then we have Think Central, our online reading assignment program, and your child will be able to, all throughout the year, log in. You will get login information, and from home, go through those assignments. Some of them will do at school here, some will be considered reinforcement at home. Here's an example of SMART. Stimulating maturity through accelerated readiness training. That's what SMART stands for. SMART is a time on Monday, Wednesday, Friday that we break into groups with first and second grade students. This shows the gross motor activities, the balance activities, some alligator rolls, pencil rolls. They are done in the gym with our paras. In the classroom with me, we work on fine motor skills such as some writing activities, but a lot of activities like with Theraputty, using tweezers to pick up beans. We do some tracing, rainbow tracing activities such as that. And they're probably familiar with SMART. I believe they did some of that with Miss Tammy during preschool time. So gross motor activities would be in the gym, but I also do want to point out that in the fall and in the spring, those gross motor activities can take place on the playground. So in the morning when we do that at 8:20 in the morning, be sure your child is always dressed for outside weather. As in the fall time they can go outside and it can be kind of chilly. So make sure they have hats, headbands, gloves, even in the early fall so they're ready for that early morning outside time. talk about our procedure for field trips, birthdays, and classroom parties. So field trips. In the fall, we visit the fire hall, and in the spring, we visit the Roseau County Law Enforcement Center, as well as the museum, and then the park. It's important that you have your paperwork completed so that I can take your children out of the school building and off the school grounds. So that's very important to get all that paperwork in. Birthdays, we do celebrate birthdays. They are the king or queen for the day, and they really enjoy that. It's their special time. They call the tables to line up. You are able to bring in treats that day if you would like. Classroom parties, we have a fall Halloween, December Christmas, and Valentine's Day party. For treats, your children will be broken into 3 groups. So at one point throughout the year, your child will be asked to bring in food to cover a party. If it's in the fall, they won't be asked again to bring again for the other 2. So we have sandwiches, cookies or bars, chips, finger jello. They each bring in their own beverage, or they can choose to have milk here at the school. And that milk would be considered their daily milk break, and that would not be, you would not need to bring anything at that time. And milk is covered and paid for in the kindergarten classroom every day. School supplies. You will get a handout in your packet. That's also can be found on the school web page, and you can follow along with that at home, and I'll go through some of those things now. 2 boxes of tissues. One goes to the music room. Start off with 1 box of crackers, and then more will be needed for replacement throughout the year, and this is for our milk break time. Remember, we do have a daily milk break time, and milk is provided in the kindergarten classroom by the state government. Package of 10 pencils. Make sure they're yellow pencils, not anything colored. Those become used by all the children in the classroom, so we just want to make sure they're the plain yellow pencils. If it's a package of 8, that's fine. Boxes of 8 crayons. The ones that say preferred by teachers, those are the ones to look for, as they have the 8 basic colors in them. There's nothing off standard of the colors. And we use those crayon names to learn the color words as well. So they can be the large or the small. If you get the large, try and get a couple small to switch over to for sure in the springtime. And if I don't get the 8 coming to school, you'll see those will come home with you to make sure you purchase just the packages of 8. And the reason for that is when we're at the tables, we keep all of our supplies in our cubbies, in our little totes. So we don't have a lot of room there, and we need to share that room, so packages of 8 work the best. A blunt tip scissor, and this is a Fiskars brand, that works very good. And then your glue sticks. Elmer's and Scotch are probably the best ones to get. Stay away from the ones from the dollar store. Those just, we found, have not been very good choices for them. They're difficult to use. So that's our school supplies. New this year, added on, will be one set of headphones, and we have to make sure that they have a plastic headband and no earbuds. Okay, so it fits over the ear. If you get the one recommended that comes in your package, your supply package, it will come with this nice plastic bag, which makes it very handy for storage. So this year, please watch for that. You'll get information for this brand and the number, and with a link, you can purchase it right off of Amazon. And they're pretty economical, right? Under $5. School policies. I'm going to really just jump over this one. Sarah Olson from the library, from the office is going to go over the school policies with you. So watch for that and make sure you click on her link as well, and she'll go through all that with you. Kindergarten readiness. Now, factors to consider are their academic skills, maturity, social skills, feedback from daycare provider and the preschool teacher. Really follow along with what Miss Brandon has been recommending to you for coming into kindergarten. And we do have all day, every day kindergarten at the Badger School. And then that brings us to questions. If you do have any questions, I'm going to go through how to contact me. We'll look at our Badger School webpage. The one other thing I'm going to point out, a couple things, is we do have 2 book orders that I will send home out throughout the school year. Those of you might be familiar with the flyers that come home, and you just send a check made out to Scholastic Books back with your child, and I will get that mailed off and back to you. A couple of other things that I'm thinking of, I'm just going to review a few notes, are communication between me and you, the parents. Really important that I have an email contact and one in the office. So make sure that you get all that information to Sarah in the office. Watch your child's papers. They come home in their backpack. They'll be stapled together. The note will be on top. If there's something important, such as your child has homework, there's an upcoming event at the school, it's picture day coming up, check your child's papers, and on the top will be that information. Outside recess time. We go outside up to -20 degrees, -20 wind chill, or -20 temperature. So that's checked daily. So if it's -19, they will be going outside during the winter time. So make sure your child comes to school prepared with whatever you think they need, a scarf, one of those neck gaiters. Those work really nicely. They can adjust it up and down over their cheeks. Just be prepared for that. Always come in with enough gear in their backpack, and I will make sure that they get it all on and they're zipped up and bundled up before they go outside. And then also again at the morning smart time. That's really important to have everything with them every day. They do need tennis shoes to play in gym. I recommend keeping a set here during the winter months. They can stay in their cubby, and then they can have them here when they get to school and change out of their boots and get their tennis shoes on. Another thing I recommend is during the winter time, keeping a sweatshirt here. Keep it in their backpack, and it's ready for them. We have one of the cooler rooms. We have 2 outside walls, so it is one of the cooler rooms, and after lunch is when they notice it a lot. They'll come back and tell me they're cold. So if they have that sweatshirt here, they can grab it and be comfortable throughout the day. Let's see, anything else that I'm kind of going through my mind that I might be forgetting to go through with you. Check those backpacks every single night. All that important information comes home. And I guess just in closing, I just want to point out to you that I want you to remember that what I do in the classroom does not take the place of what you do at home. Your instruction, your parent teaching at home is much more important. I just hope to complement what you do at home and work together with you. Stay involved in your child's education. Try and ask them some questions. If they say, what did you do today at school, and they say nothing, ask them some specific questions, such as, what did you have for lunch today? What was a new song Mr. Carpenter taught you today? Who did you play with today at playtime? So that'll get them leading on into another conversation with you. Try and ask specific questions such as that. So next what I'm going to do is go through our Badger School webpage with you. So we'll X out of this. There we go. Here's the home page for Badger School. Go to Badger School, and this should come up for you. You have a lot of links at the top. I want to point out a couple things right away. Here you have information of the board minutes from the school, our forecast. This is where we go to check the temperature, and our headlines. If the school is closed due to inclement weather, we have a storm or we're going to be 2 hours late, always look here first. This is a good place to come. Mrs. Trushinsky is always very quick about getting it up and going on our webpage first. Even before you might get your call alert, if you're wondering, gosh, it looks pretty, the weather, it's questionable, you might want to check the web page. That's what I do, and I find it there often before I even get my phone call. Sometimes that's not always working. I mean, it usually does, but you could have that one time when you don't get that phone call. You could check right here. Up at the top, Students is a place where you can go to find your lunch menus. Click on that and you can find the lunch menu if you don't have that handy at home. Another place to go is staff email. Oh, that's for us, I'm sorry. Go to staff directory. And this is where you would be taken, you would find our names. And it shows a direct link to our email for contacting us. Now this is a really good way to contact me. If you're picking your child up early from school, you can let me know via email. But I am going to let you know that if you don't hear back from me that day, like got it, sounds good, then you should call the school. I could be out of the building, could be a sub in the building, or the email might not be working that day. So if you don't hear back from me, then make that phone call, okay? Here's some links on this side that I want to point out. Homework. And if you click on one of the dates, it's going to show you what I'll be working on that day and that week for math, reading, art. Okay? Some other things that you have here is our supply list that you will be getting in the mail. You can always find it there. Here's the list of sight words. So you're getting at home the list of first 10 sight words and the color words. Things that you can get a jump start on at home with your child. A lot of the boys and girls come in already knowing those color words, and that helps so much. So you'll have flashcards coming home to practice the first 10 color words. So here you'll see that we have all of our sight words. That's all of the words right now for the kindergarten, well, up until distant learning began. And they can keep track of them, they can review here, the parents are able to do that. I did have, here was my distance learning, and if parents clicked on that, they could find all my links to my videos posted for learning. That's where they went for distance learning. At-home activities provided parents with another way to stay on top of skills at home. And my classroom schedule is here. You're wondering where are they going to be when you have to take them out for a dentist appointment. You can check that out. Classroom photos and just other things there. Let's go back to staff directory. So boys and girls, you will, or moms and dads, you will have Mrs. Lambert for Fayed, and you will have Mr. Carpenter for music. So if you want to contact them anytime throughout the year, this is probably your best way to reach those individual instructors, again, by just clicking on that email link, and it'll go right to her email contact. Here, you can also find information on kindergarten, just the kindergarten classroom with Mrs. Lambert. So, good way to contact your child's teachers is through email. I'm thinking, let's go back to the home page. I just didn't want to miss something really important here. Calendar, the Badger School calendar is there. But I think I've covered, this is a link to our Badger School newspaper, the Barker issues. You can go back and read about what's happening at school. Here are the headlines and features. I know in the fall you will find information regarding school pictures. It's a good place to always look. And the other thing I want to remind moms and dads is to always read the school bulletin. Badger School Bulletin, right here under important documents. You're going to find so much information, and if you get in the habit now of reading that information, it'll be more links to ask your children about their day too as well. It'll tell you when school pictures are. Elementary wrestling practice, if you happen to have a child that'll be in elementary wrestling. All that important information will be shared throughout the bulletin too. So, okay, well, parents of our upcoming kindergarten boys and girls, thank you for joining me today on our virtual tour. If you have any questions, email me, contact me at the school. And one other way, I really hope to see all of you at our August open house. That'll be a great way for your children to come into the classroom, check it out, and also bring their school supplies that day. Then I can have them ahead of time and get them all labeled and set up for them. So when you come back in the fall for the workshop, bring all those supplies, and if you haven't turned in your papers, you can stop right in the office and hand all that to Sarah. So thanks for joining me today.